Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe, and I'm a weapon and mass instruction, and I'm testing out this nifty Screencast-o-matic thingamajig. So, alright. So you're not going to have to deal with any advertisements. Basically, I want to go through the steps that I took as far as, connecting the dots from the Colorado shooting to all this other stuff. And so here we go. First, I went back and I found some of the news articles pertaining to freaking the actual shooting. So here's page 1 of the ABC report. Alright, and mainly on page 1, it was talking about his name is Holmes, James Holmes. I didn't know his first name. Alright, was not cooperating, which is interesting. Because normally, psycho killers want to tell everybody exactly why they did it. That's something you see happen over and over again. Guy goes nuts, starts shooting people, and then he tells the cops exactly why he did it. He's freaking lawyered up, has a public defender. It also mentions a shooting range who the proprietor rejected his application to join the range because of a bizarre voicemail greeting on Holmes' phone. Alright. I'll get back to that. Alright, but again, this kid, he was in a freaking doctorate program. It was a 5 to 7 year course. Page 2 of this report has more pretty much the same congregations across Colorado praying, Obama fucking praying campaign, awesomeness. Fucking Romney doing exactly the same thing. It's just retarded. And it goes into a little bit more detail with the shooting range guy. When Rotkovich, which is a Russian sounding name, Rotkovich, right? The fuck? No. I gotta fucking get a pop-up blocker. So there was supposed to be a mandatory orientation or a safety briefing. His voicemail recording was bizarre, guttural, freakish at best. Quote. Bizarre, guttural, and freakish. What the fuck? Like, people that are hopped up on bath salts or whatever the fuck. Or more likely than not, fucking, like what the Knowledge Vault has been talking about, Kiss the Rainbow. I'll get into that a little bit. A little bit of the guy's background. Freaking his best friend from high school last talked to him last December, and he seemed absolutely normal. So sometime around between January and now, this kid goes and turns psycho. Or there's a couple of other possibilities there. Alright, because everybody already knows about how they like to plant bits of information that tell a story to people that know how to read it. Alright, here's another thing. The gunman's semi-automatic assault rifle jammed during the attack on the Aurora movie theater, forcing him to switch to another gun with less firepower, a federal law enforcement official told the Associated Press. But some of the other news reports that I had heard talked about how he was using a shotgun. So these people are fucking leading us to believe that there's more firepower in an AR-15 than a 12-gauge shotgun. Bullshit. Alright. 100-round drum. Worst shooting in the U.S. since the 2009 attack at Fort Hood, Texas. Alright. And then, again, they keep on mentioning Columbine and associating this with Columbine. Not exactly the same. Alright. Adobe Flash Player, so what the fuck? I don't care. Anyway. This is the Google Maps that I was looking at. There's Aurora down in the bottom left. Alright. and you can look at the scale. 2 miles is about an inch. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 miles as the crow flies from Denver International Airport to Aurora in Denver. Okay. This is the mural that I was talking about in the Denver International Airport, if you haven't already found it. Okay, so here we've got that Russian-looking uniform, a gas mask, assault rifle, alright, chemical attack with the rainbow. Goes right through his head. There's the rainbow. Alright, so everybody's already seen this. And the rainbow is the fucking connection. Aurora, fucking rainbow. Alright, if I have time on the screencast, I'll go into Wikipedia and I'll pull up Aurora Borealis. Alright, I did an image search to try to find legit spetsnaz uniforms. Ta-da! Look familiar? Alright, except on the mural, it didn't have the gas canister. But that's to be expected. The guy didn't know what the fuck he was painting. Letter to a Republican, or representative, sorry. He is a Republican for South Carolina. This was dated to May 9th, pertaining to hundreds of Russian elite troops in U.S. soil. What for? Alright, and most of it is just like referring back to John Moore's talk show, talking about the training. And this is actually like one of the first things that popped up when I searched for spetsnaz, Fort Carson. And why did I go there? Well, Fort Carson, I'll go back to Google Maps in a minute, but Fort Carson is right down the road from Denver. I mentioned that in an earlier video as well. Thanks to my friend from down south who reminded me of that. Talking about pink terror when active military operations have not yet begun, and there's still peace, but when some of the best spetsnaz units have already gone into action. This leads directly to red terror, which is open warfare between major powers. Now, if you're all worried about numerous spetsnaz being in the United States at this moment, the ones that were at Fort Carson, apparently it was just 20 of them, and apparently they did go back home when they were supposed to. I tried doing a search for it, and this is like the best I could pull up. There's a couple of the choice articles. I picked one from the Associated Press. Not like they're, you know, lying any less than any other news organizations, but alright, this was dated to May 7th, talking about members of the Russian military will visit Fort Carson to train, 20 of them with a dozen U.S. troops. Alright, they will be escorted around the clock by U.S. military officers. No classified information will be exchanged. Alright, and false reports claimed the drills involved the Russians seizing CIA computers in Denver and taking over the city's airport. But why was the airport even mentioned? Probably because of the mural with the Russian-looking soldier laying waste to the dove. The dove! I should take a look at that too, since I have a little bit of time. Alright. So, real quick, do I have Wikipedia up? Alright. Let's look up Aurora Borealis, because I think that is one of the connections here. Aurora, rainbow, alright, fucking Haarp. Yeah, wasn't sure how to spell it for a second. High altitude auroral research project, or is it high activity auroral research project? The word aurora is in Haarp. Astronomy, a glow in the sky seen at polar latitudes, often referred to as Aurora Borealis, northern or southern lights. Look what we have here, auroras. We got green ones, we got fucking yellow ones, red ones. It's a fucking rainbow, is what it is. Not literally, obviously. I know what rainbows come from. high-frequency active auroral research program. They're telling us right there, all right, Aurora in Colorado. See? Okay, so we don't even need to look at any of this shit, but all right, 3.6 megawatt signal, 2.8 to 10 megahertz regions with the high frequency band. Did they change it? All right, but you know what? Like, this is just what they put out there. Nobody really knows that that's exactly what it does. All right, I guarantee its capabilities are far more than they like to say. Research at the Haarp includes VLF, very low frequency, and extremely low frequency generation observations. So they're talking about producing or propagating energy in the high frequency areas, right? 2.8 to 10 megahertz of the HF high frequency band, when in all reality it's down low in the hertz, not megahertz. It's fucking low frequency. Back to Google Maps. All right. Fort Carson. Why am I going back to Fort Carson? Well, this is another thing that was mentioned to me tonight. Something I didn't really think of on my own, and I should have. Colorado Springs, and this is like when I was looking at Roswell, I passed right by it. Look how close it is to Denver, okay? That's another connection. I'm not saying that the spetsnaz from Colorado, Fort Carson, went to Denver and propagated this action, alright? But I do think that this guy Holmes was possibly mind control, alright? That's what the rainbow connection is, alright? The fact that he used a gas mask, he used a gas attack technique upon committing this crime, alright, that tells me that he freaking, you know, one, he knew military tactics, alright, he knew it. How do you learn it in 6 months while, you know, people see you at school and stuff like that? You know, they reported that he was dropping out of the program, but they didn't say it actually dropped out of that specific program. Like, they didn't give us any details. Was he sitting at home that whole time? You know? I don't know. Where would he have gotten that training? Apparently he ordered 6,000 rounds off the internet. And they're going to be pushing for gun bans because of this. They're going to be pushing. There's people out there saying that they don't want the Second Amendment anymore, that it's no good, that the only way for people to be safe is for all of us to have our guns taken away from us. I call bullshit. I fucking call bullshit on that. Colorado gun law. Probably going to pull up the fucking Massacre again, isn't it? No, not on maps. Search. Colorado gun laws. Alright. What are the carry laws? Okay. Colorado allows a person to carry a firearm in a vehicle, loaded or unloaded, if its use is lawful protection of such person or another person's property, or person or property. So they allow you to defend property as well. Also allows a person to possess a handgun in a dwelling, place of business, or automobile. However, you cannot carry the weapon concealed on or about your person while transporting it into your home, business, hotel room, blah, blah, blah. Local jurisdictions may not enact laws that restrict a person's ability to travel with a weapon. How do I obtain a concealed weapon permit? A permit to carry may be obtained through the sheriff or the county in which you live. You must meet certain requirements. Consult your sheriff's department for it. So it's basically the same as PA. All right. Look at that.